good afternoon. We are here at the Casa delle Letterature in Roma with writer George Saunders. Thank you for coming here. George Saunders is a professor at Syracuse University and he's here in Italy for a tour for reading and for the launching of the translation of In Persuasion Nation. You started writing relatively late.
Mm-hmm. I was 87 years old at the time.
Yeah. Very late. But I wonder if had literature been playing already an important role in your life before then? I mean, were you a voracious reader?
Voracious might be generous, but I was a big reader of bad writing mostly. I didn't know what the good stuff was, so I would just read. It was very important to me. It affected me more than anything else I did, but I wasn't quite smart enough to recognize that meant I should try to do it. So it was kind of a working class background. So I didn't know any writers or any professors, so I just it was almost like a little guilty pleasure, you know. So I went to engineering school and would sneak away to the library to read novels and so on. And then one day I was in Asia, actually I worked in Asia, and I thought, you know, if this means so much to me, why not? Why not me? And then it was a great, it was like coming out of the closet a bit, you know, just to say, well, So no, but all those years it was, you know, when you're a reader, there's a very profound intimacy that goes on there. And I remember even a 10-year-old reading this novel called Johnny Tremaine. It's, you know, and just thinking I could just see that world in my mind. I knew the people, and it was very wonderful.
I can do it.
Yeah. At that time, I said someone can do it. I can read it. That was a bigger
little by little.
Yeah.
You're mainly a short story writer. What attracts you in particular?
I think I'm a bit of a control freak, you know, so I want to be able to know what everything in the work is doing. With a novel, I think you have to have a little more courage and say, well, I don't know, chapter 6, I don't know. But with a story, you can and you must be responsible for every tiny thing, and that's both intoxicating and a little sickening, because then you're almost forced to keep a fairly short length, So I think that's both, that urge to control is very good. And now I'm at a stage where I'm trying to shed it just a little bit and try to say, well, maybe we don't have to live and die by every sentence if in exchange you get a larger arc and a more open-hearted narrative. But that's my challenge at the moment.
And is it part of the challenge, the fact that you published a short novel like The Brief and Frightening?
I keep pushing it. I do this funny thing where I know exactly how many pages of my text it takes to make a novel. You know, and it's 74, and I keep pushing. But I think I'm a slow learner, so I'm learning to put together gradually bigger narrative shapes. And some people just can do it intuitively. For me, it's very much kind of, well, I'll do this, and then up to 60 pages, okay, and then, you know, so maybe, like I said, by the time I'm 300 years old, I might really have a novel.
And then maybe a last question. How does the writing process usually unfold for you? I don't know, do you follow a voice? Do you have an image or a plot point you want to reach?
That's the great question. I mean, the truthful answer, it's kind of different every time, but the one thing I've noticed is I write mostly by responding to what I've already written. You know, so I'll have the smallest, I don't like to have big ideas, just small little images or bits of dialogue that are somehow interesting. Then just read it very flat in your mind, as if you hadn't written it, and just see what your heart does in response. You know, does it cross out a word, add a phrase, and try to keep it as non-analytical as possible, but just responding in real time to your own text. And slowly it builds, you know, and then you read it again, and then there's another response. And that's the most honest approach. Sometimes it's different, but usually that's the core. So it's very much like it's a bit like relationship. You know, you go if you want to. You never know, and you have to be the value depends on your openness. You know, if you go out to dinner with somebody and you have index cards, you know, 6 o'clock, flat, compliment her hair. That will be a dead date. But if you say, well, there she is, and be open, then you never know. It could be wonderful. You know, so that I try to keep that approach as much as possible.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.